I've got the new Kat Von D Saint and Sinner eyeshadow palette to share with you guys today. I'm super excited about it. When I started seeing like the pictures she was posting on Instagram, this was, I feel like this was like 2 months ago or something like that. I was like, I cannot wait. And I think this is part of her holiday 2017 holiday collection. But the palette contains 24 eyeshadows and each shadow is 0.04 ounces per shade, which is, it's mid-range in terms of size. Pans are the same size as the smaller amounts in the like Shade and Light palette. They are this size right here, a 0.04 ounce. This is what I have on my eyes right now, and there will be a demo for that towards the end of the video if you're interested in seeing how these eyeshadows went on for me or how I got the look that's on my eyes. The demo portion will actually be on the look that I'm wearing in this clip right here. The purple and green tutorial that I did yesterday, there were parts of the tutorial that were missing off my memory card, so I just refilmed the tutorial part and then did a different look. But the palette itself comes in a heavy-duty, nice, weighty feeling cardboard packaging. It would have been super cool if they could have made this awesome like style in a plastic, but I don't know how easy that would have been. But I do like the packaging. I think it's really, really pretty. It says Saint on this side and Sinner on this side, and it does have a texture kind of where the pattern is going around. And then on the back it does have all the shade names and information on there. And then when you open it up, I don't want to really grab this particular piece too much as opposed to like grabbing the side and opening it, because I think that with use this would start to get worn because it's a thinner piece on the palette. But anyway, so you open it up and there's mirrors on each side right there, which is super cool, and then there are all your eyeshadows. I really like the uniqueness. I've always loved the uniqueness of Kat Von D products, and this is no exception. I think it's really cool. So I just like flip the doors backwards and like when I used it and put it on holding it like this. When I zoom in and give you guys swatches, I'll point out the different shades and like textures of some of them. I found that when I use them, the shades have nice pigmentation to them. Some of them do kick up dust like when I put my brush in there, but I didn't have any fallout on my face, which I thought was great. The one thing that I found that I was looking for in the palette was a nice mid-tone transition shade. I didn't think, like a matte one, I guess I should say a matte transition shade. And there really kind of wasn't one that I was like normally one that I would go to kind of blend out another color. So what I did was use this Ashes shade. The base of that shade is matte, but there's a ton of super tiny micro like shimmers in it. And I initially thought that it would just probably go on matte, but the shimmers in that shade actually stick, and that's like the little sparkle that you're seeing kind of through here is from that shade, because that's what I used to buff out the other shade which I used, which was Exorcism. But I was looking for that matte mid-tone transition shade, so I kind of had to just mix between Amen and Ashes to kind of fade them into each other. Other than that, there's a nice array of shades in here. You've got bright shades, warm shades, cool shades. The look on my eyes turned out really cool, and I've been wearing so many warm eyeshadows lately that it really paled out my face. I'm sure you guys can tell. And then I have a lipstick that's a little bit darker than something that I wear, so I feel gothic, which I don't mind at all because I kind of dig that vibe anyway. Kat Von D's past 2 holiday palettes have been just awesome, and I feel like this is no exception. Some of these shades, when you see the swatches, they're just so pretty, and there is a level of uniqueness to quite a bit of the shades in here too, which, I mean, with as many shadows and palettes that there are out there, it's not the easiest thing to do to kind of come up with a unique shade. Like this Heaven shade, it kind of looks like a really bright silver, but there's a pewter or like purple pewterness to it. It's really pretty. So let me zoom up close and give you guys some swatches and then kind of point out the different finishes and textures of the shades. So here's the palette up close right here, and then here are your shades that are in the eyeshadow palette. And then you've got the mirrors, which I just flipped over backwards, and then here are all of your shades. There are 2 shades in here which are like the glimmer finish from her new Shade and Light Glimmer eyeshadow palette, and that's these 2 right here. They're really, really sparkly shades, but there isn't a ton of filler-like pigment to them. They look pretty kind of topped over other shadows, or really packed on a sticky base. They have a high amount of shine, and there are only 2 shades like that in this palette, and that is these 2 eyeshadows right here. The shades that have a matte base with a massive amount of micro glitters or like shimmers in them are Ashes and Revelation. These 2 right here. The shimmers with the matte base in Ashes showed up really well when I used this shade today. And they have a reflective green, which actually worked really pretty with this Exodus shade. The Exodus shade also has micro glitters in it like those two, but this particular shade didn't go on with the shimmers like this guy did right here. It kind of went on more matte, even though you can see some sparkle in it. But those are the three shades that are like that. These two right here, the shimmers show up in those two shades, which I thought was nice. And for true matte eyeshadows in here, you've got Sabbath, which is a super black shade, Amen, Martyr, Devil, Crucifix, Baptism, and Exorcism are the shades in there. There could have been maybe just a few more mattes in there, I guess, but I love how many bright and pretty shimmery shades there are too. And then Cathedral down here does have micro glitters in it with a shimmer base as well, like a bigger shimmer particle in that guy than the rest. But otherwise, these other shades are shimmers. So let me go ahead and give you guys some swatches. Try to hold this without digging my fingers into it. Let's do these first two. These are like the glimmer type shades. This red one really reminds me of that shade from the Marc Jacobs holiday palette that I just did. It looks very similar. So these two are like the glimmers, which would look really pretty as toppers, are really packed on a sticky base. They have a high shine to them. And then these next four, which these two are both shimmers. Then you got a matte and a matte base with some micro shimmers in it. I'm going to build this one up a little bit because it did go on nicely for me as a blend out shade. Just didn't swatch quite as well. And then these guys, which if I didn't mention, this is the Sinner half and this is the Saint half. And these guys. This color here is so pretty. And then these guys. The green shade I wanted it to be really vibrant lime green on, so I did have to go over that a couple times and really pack it on to get that vibrancy. It's like a chartreuse lime green, I guess. And then the last row here, this shade's really pretty too. There's a lot of really beautiful eyeshadows in this palette. And then these last two. Here it is next to last year's Metal Matte eyeshadow palette, which was awesome. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. One of the things that I love about Kat Von D's palettes, like every time like the holidays come around, they're always different. Like the packaging is never like consistent with the year before and stuff like that. It's always different. There's always something more unique that she brings each time she releases them, which I just really appreciate. Sometimes like with quite a few brands lately, I've noticed just so much repetitiveness. I love it when they switch up the the style of the packaging and like the whole 9 yards, and that's something that she does, which I just really gets me excited and I love about her brand in general. I really don't feel like there's a theme with any of these shades, and there's so many different color variations in here that I think that the looks are going to come out easily unique, which is, again, is another thing that I appreciate. Like today, I didn't really expect it to kind of turn out the way that it did, so cool and stuff, like a cool tone and stuff. And then my lip too, but it did it, but it's still pretty and it looks like vampy and it's unique, and it's kind of a nice change too from like all the warm shadows that I keep constantly wearing. I'm thinking that this one will probably be on the top of my list in terms of the palettes to get for the like holiday season. But anyway, if you guys want to see the demo that's on my eyes right now, you can hang tight and we'll get into it right now. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with the Lily Lolo Eyeshadow Primer Duo. I'm going to mix between the two shades and put that from the lash line to up underneath the brow. Then using the original Goss number 18 brush, which is just a flat shader, I'm going to go into the shade Stigmata, which is a shimmery red. I'm going to put this on the outer 2/3 of the lid. I'm also, kind of got some kick up there, I'm also going to bring it upwards just on this inner part above the crease there so that I can see it. Then using the other side of that brush, I'm going to go into the shade Relic, which is a pretty gold. Put that up here. This is a really pretty gold. That reminds me of like the new Rihanna Trophy Wife color. And then using a Chikuhodo GSN 9 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Revelation. I'm going to put that guy through the crease. It's got some super pretty gold micro glitters in it. Then I'm going to take this Hakuhodo J146 brush and I'm going to go into the shade Devil, which is a matte orange. And I'm going to start blending out that Revelation shade. I'm going to go back into that orange after I put the brow bone on. And I'm going to use Amen, which is kind of a creamy matte shade. I'm going to cover up any area where I don't have shadow yet. And I'm hoping that I can just get a lighter orange shade, blending that Devil shade up into that brow bone. Now on a Hakuhodo J5523 brush, I'm going to go back into that matte orange Devil color and fade it up into the brow bone highlight. It's one thing I noticed. It was I was wishing for kind of a light mid-toned transition type shade, a matte one, but and then the higher I go, the less like pressure I push on the brush with. Then I'm just going to take this fluffy brush and go back into Amen. Amen is really pigmented and kind of a really, really bright. So I'm going to buff this back into the orange. So there's the eyeshadow done. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye makeup and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For lips, I've got Charlotte Tilbury's Lip Cheat, and this is in the shade Pink Venus. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this. And then to fill them in, this is one of MAC's Patent Polished Lip Pencils. This is in the shade Teen Dream. It's just like a glossy tangerine. And that's the overall finished look using the new Kat Von D Saint and Sinner eyeshadow palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.